when many people read the book, this story in 2 Kings 5, the highlight is on Naaman, okay? Now, he was sick. He was a soldier. He was great. He had this great job, but he had a problem. A problem that he had been hiding, a problem that he was ashamed of. Now, why is it important that the Bible tells us that Naaman was a soldier? When I read that story, I just don't see about Naaman. I just don't see Elijah and all the great things that happened. I see this little girl, very insignificant. The Bible does not even tell us her name. She's just referred to as a slave girl. Now, this slave girl had been captured by Aramean soldiers. So she was probably going around her business with her friends, going to fetch water. Maybe she'd been sent to the market by her mom. And then the Arameans came and they snatched her and stole her. Naaman was the head of the army, the same army that had captured that little girl. Now, I want to ask you, if you're this little girl in this man's house and you realize that he has leprosy, what would you think? But let me tell you, we need to be careful about the place that the Lord puts us. Because God allowed this girl to be separated from her family, to suffer, to be taken into captivity. She wasn't operating in good times. But when she heard that her master was sick, she knew she had the solution to the problem. You know, some of you have been treated so bad that when you see somebody who you perceive to be your enemy going through hard knocks, dare the Lord tell you to bless them, you'd rather die. That cannot be the Lord. How now? Yeah? But she knew who she had believed in. And that's why it's so important for us to recognize that our flourishing is not dependent on the circumstances that we find ourselves in. Our flourishing is not dependent on the voices around us. Because sometimes those voices are not going to encourage you towards godliness. And so, 3 things strike me. Number 1, that she didn't revenge. Number 2, that they actually listened to her. Now think about it. This girl is coming and saying, I have a God. There's someone, a prophet in my homeland who can fix you. And probably they're thinking, that prophet who could not even help you, that's why you're serving me here as a slave. How am I even going to go? But they didn't think like that. Why would they believe the voice of a slave girl? Yes, they were desperate. But I don't think that's the only reason. But because she had faithfully served, they had observed her. They had seen how she behaved in their house. She was believable. She was a person that they could listen to. This was not the maid. This was not the hired help. She was a slave. She had no rights. Even talking to her boss was a privilege. Now, the funny thing is not only did the boss believe her, the woman, she went and told her husband, who believed her, who went and told the king, who believed her, and they went on the journey to meet the prophet, who the man did not believe at first, but he was willing to believe the story of the servant girl. My question to you today is this. When you're squeezed and you're in difficult situations, when people look at you, do they believe that that faith you profess is believable, that it can sustain people? Because sometimes God allows you to be in very difficult situations so that that perfume within you can be squeezed and come out and be a testament to who he is.